Thank you, President. My question is for Minister Lean. As Veterans Minister, so RSL was founded during World War I to help care for returning veterans. 100 years later, these clubs are now multi-million-dollar organisations. In Victoria, a large proportion of the RSL's annual income comes from poker machines. To be precise, RSL poker machines turned over $260 million in revenue, but less than 4% of that revenue, $9.8 million, goes back into the community and veteran welfare. We know that veterans are disproportionately represented in homeless populations with higher rates of mental health issues, higher rates of drug and alcohol dependence, and higher rates of gambling addiction. There's been a concerted push by some younger members within the RSL, and I suspect have corresponded with you, to get pokies out of RSL clubs, arguing it's not worth the return. Will the Minister work with veterans organisations to achieve this outcome?
Andrew. Yeah. Mr. Lane.
I thank Ms. Patten for her question, and I suppose the initial answer is the finances and the business of the RSL, of course, they're up to them to administer, and I think gaming machines has been an element of some branches, not all branches, but only some branches, and I do take into account that there'll be different opinions within the RSL, with vets that maybe not even members of the RSL, around how those finances may be collected or achieved. And I have, Ms. Patten, had, as you said, I have had people come to me with delegations around the worth or not of being in this particular area. So I think, once again, and I think the chamber and the rest of the community would actually be quite horrified if the a minister of the state government was interfering with the RSL. But I do take into account, and I think the history you gave of their establishment is very good, and I do take into account that that is the core business RSL branches believe in and strive to achieve. And when I say all RSL branches, I believe that that is their intent. And I think that any finances that go towards welfare is a very good thing. I think the debate within the RSL is enough welfare from this money going towards vets, and I think that's the debate they need to have. The RSL, everything moves on and everything changes. This may be a change, it may not. I understand that they've got their AGM coming up soon, and I'm sure there'll be a debate around that. And once again, that's not for me to put my two bob in. But getting back to, I think ex-service organisations in general, not just the RSL, I think that they do put their mind to welfare. I don't think they get helped too much by the federal government. I don't think they get helped too much by the Department of Veterans Affairs, who seem to act like if an ex-service man and woman wants assistance in welfare, the first answer always seems to be no. And then they've got to swim the Nile, climb a pyramid, and then come back and do it again, and then they might get another hearing. So I think it's a shame the Victorian ESOs are in this place. They shouldn't be in this place. The DVA's budget last year was $11 billion. And we've got Victorian ESOs in a place where they feel that this is an area that they must completely concentrate on, when maybe we should give them a break.
Thank you, Minister. Ms. Patten on a supplementary.
Thank you, President. And I do take your point that, the federal matters, and I take your point that Minister, that it's possibly not within your not within your functions to talk to them about this. But when we look at the RSLs now owe the government $68 million in poker machine licence fees. and we know that the RSLs are going into debt all over the place. So I'm asking, would the Minister advocate and investigate if these fees could be reduced or abolished?
Minister Lee.
Yeah, and Ms Patten, you're asking me a question that's outside my portfolio, but I'm always happy to advocate for welfare of veterans in whatever form that may take. And I understand during the COVID that some of these RSL branches, to no fault of the members at all, that COVID did affect these branches because they were, well, the broad brush of gambling venues, so they couldn't operate. But I did actually reach out to the RSL via my advisor to see if we can't speak to local governments if there was halls that people could gather and do that core business that you spoke about. That were because of the unfortunately not being able to use the venues that they've been used to using over recent years. But so I welcome all questions around Veterans Affairs, and I thank Ms Patten and other members in recent weeks has actually brought this to attention, and I've got to say people in the veterans community and family are noticing and actually appreciating it.
Thank you.